Previously on Connor Ricks.
You got some wild hair,
The
dude.
world is. It was my life's work, and he called it bath.
So, yeah, I got a haircut. What do you think? So, yeah. I needed a haircut, but this just ain't doing it for me. Give me a minute. Oh yeah, that's much better. I have been a fan of Star Wars for as long as I can remember. The movies were introduced to me at such a young age that I literally cannot remember a time where I had not seen Star Wars. I saw all 6 Star Wars movies when I was fairly young, and I've seen all the newer ones in theaters. I have a handful of Star Wars toys and even have a Star Wars blanket on my bed. I couldn't manage to find a Star Wars shirt, this being the closest one I have, but despite all that, all my amazing love for Star Wars, there is one area of Star Wars that I had never really checked out, and that's the expanded universe. And up until very recently, I hadn't experienced almost any of the massive expanded universe. I had never watched the shows, never read the books, or played any of the games. Well, I guess that last one's not entirely true. I have played LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga more than once, actually, and I played maybe 30 minutes of an N64 Star Wars game, which I don't even remember the title of, and I guess when it comes to TV shows, I had seen maybe 6 to 10 episodes of Clone Wars, but beyond that, my experience with Star Wars was really just strictly limited to the movies, and I guess a few various YouTube videos. But at the end of last year, that all changed. The first bit of expanded universe that I experienced, if you even want to call it expanded universe, is The Mandalorian. I got Disney Plus for Christmas last year, and The Mandalorian was the first thing I watched on there. And let me just say, I loved it. It was absolutely amazing from start to finish. From there, it was a combination of my love for that show, plus the ease of Disney Plus, as well as the 7th season over the horizon, that led me at the start of this year to watching Clone Wars. And oh my goodness, that is one mighty fine show. I mean, I absolutely adore Clone Wars. So much to the point where now I would 100% tell somebody that it is my favorite Star Wars anything. It did take it a minute to get going, but once it does, it never stops. And I absolutely love it more than any of the movies. So, at least for now, Clone Wars is my favorite Star Wars. So, I just have to say, if you haven't watched Clone Wars, or if you just haven't watched Season 7, I'm telling you right now, you need to do so. You will not regret it. With the combination of The Mandalorian, Clone Wars, and Episode 9, which I did happen to really enjoy, my love for Star Wars was at an all-time high. And for a while, I had heard about all the various Star Wars books, but I still needed a little bit of a push to actually get into them. Just being told that they exist and are good was for some reason not enough for me, and even having a Star Wars book was not enough to get me reading, because you see, I've had this Star Wars book, The Truce at Bakura, for maybe 5-6 years, and I still haven't read it. Funny side story, actually, I used to have 2 copies of this book, because you see, when I bought it, I was young and dumb, as I'm sure I still am, but that's not the point. Anyways, the used bookstore I got it from actually had 2 copies of this book, but they had slightly different covers. And I mean, the covers aren't even that different. Really, just one has more words instead of a handshake. But as I said before, I was young and dumb. I didn't realize that they were the same book, and thought it would be cool to read a Star Wars book or two, so I picked them up. And then, to make matters worse, the lady at the register asked me that I was sure I wanted to get both books, because obviously she realized that they were the same. But me, being a little stupid head, thought that she just saw they were both Star Wars books, and that she didn't realize that there are actually a lot of Star Wars books. Of course I said yes, because I wanted 2 Star Wars books to read, not 1, and it wasn't until quite a while later that I actually realized that they were the same book, because, as I said before, I never actually read them. Now, where were we? Ah, yes. I needed a push to get reading the books. That push came in the form of a live stream from my friend Frosty_Moose98 on Twitch. And I will put a link down in the description to his channel, and you should really go check it out and drop a follow. He streams Battlefront 2 and it's a blast, so be sure you go check it out. But anyways, during one of his streams, the topic came up about favorite Star Wars characters. And I wanted to sound really cool and like I had a vast knowledge of the expanded universe. So I said one of my favorite characters was Expanded Universe Mace Windu, because I had heard about a book called Shatterpoint, which features Mace Windu, and I thought it sounded really cool, and I had heard that it's quite good. I then proceeded to act like I had read the book and loved it, and even said in the chat that Shatterpoint is a very good book. Moose proceeded to say how he's never really gotten into the Star Wars books, to which I responded that I only read a few, but Shatterpoint is a must-read. Yeah. Toting a Star Wars book I hadn't read as a must-read. Not even to mention the fact that I hadn't read a few Star Wars books. I hadn't even read any. Moose is intrigued by the idea of this book, at which point we probably know exactly the same about. And so he asks what the book is actually about, which is actually a really logical thing to ask about a book that you're interested in. But of course I don't actually know what it's about. I hadn't read it. So I panicked and hurried and Googled the book, and then was able to summarize a description, and you know what? I didn't actually do half bad. It went something like, basically it follows Mace Windu during the Clone Wars on a journey attempting to save his Padawan from an Anakin-esque fate, which isn't entirely correct, but isn't really incorrect either. I was now in a pickle, because I was in a situation where it looked like I had read a book that I in fact had not. So, of course, I did the logical thing and went to Amazon and ordered it, and 2 days later I had it, and I started reading. It took me about a week to finish, and I loved it. That's all there is to it. It was in fact very cool and a very good read. And so from there, I wanted to read more Star Wars books. And I may have gotten a little carried away and picked up a few. It's only about 50, so, just a few. And I keep getting more, so that's nice. I mean, there's just so much in the Star Wars Legends universe. If you're confused about my use of the word Legends there, allow me to explain. The expanded universe really began in 1991 when Timothy Zahn released Heir to the Empire. The rest of the expanded universe grew and grew from there until in 2014 when Disney bought Star Wars. Disney wanted to create their own stories and so decided that all the books that had come previously were no longer canon and basically just threw them out. And those became dubbed as Legends. So anything that was released prior to 2014, except for the movies and the Clone Wars animated show, is now part of the Legends universe. And then anything released after 2014, any books, games, movies, is now canon and counts towards the canon universe of Star Wars. So basically there's 2 separate universes now. You got the canon universe and the Legends universe. And the original 6 movies fit nicely into both. I cannot wait to dive further into this universe, and I've actually already almost finished with Heir to the Empire, and I'm actually going to be starting a new series on this channel, My Thoughts on Blank, where each new book I read I will create a video about my thoughts on it, and these videos aren't meant to be reviews because I'm no good at reviewing things, so they're just my thoughts of what I enjoyed, what I disliked, and if I think you should read it. So if you want to check those out and go through these books with me, that would be awesome, and you can subscribe so that you don't miss those videos. I am planning on doing one of these videos each week, and I've already started a list of the order I'm going to read the books in. But if you've read a bunch of the books and there's anything you think I should add or change, be sure to let me know down in the comments. Like, if you think X book is the best book ever and that I need to read it as soon as possible, let me know and I'll throw it in there somewhere. And right now my list is just books, but if there's any great comic series or games that you think I really need to check out, let me know about those too down in the comments. I don't have a whole lot of knowledge on this universe. I'm starting to figure out, but it's still a learning process. But anyways, thank you so much for watching, and I do really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to leave a like on the video and share it with your friends. And if you made it to the end of this video and you've never read a Star Wars book, you should really go do that. They are actually really awesome. And if you're new around here, be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you never miss a video from me in the future. As I've said, I've got that upcoming series, but I've also got other videos I'm working on that will be coming in the future as well. So if you want to be sure you don't miss those, just remember to subscribe. And anyways, once again, thank you so much for watching. That's all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time. Funny side story actually, I used to have 2 copies of this book because when I bought it I was young and dumb, as I'm sure I still am, but that's not the point. The used bookstore I got it from actually had 2 copies of the book, but they had slightly different colors.